Hey, welcome to Mama's Junk Journal. I wanted to talk today about Riley a little bit more. Riley's my older child. She's 18 this year. But I want to talk about her when she was quite young in elementary school. And I want to point a few things out. And during the course of the video, as I have been creating this page and creating the content that's going to go with it, I absolutely learned something about myself. First of all, these two books, I got them at McKay's used bookstore, and I was so excited to use this material. I found all of these books for under $1. Nobody's reading them anymore. They're just sitting on a shelf, and I know that some of you may be like, oh, books, but these are just treasures that I would love to use the artwork in, so I get excited whenever I see things like that. But that's going to play into how this page turns out, because I was not happy with the way the page turned out. Riley, because of her current diagnosis, I am looking back at her childhood a little bit more, and I want to talk about this picture I chose, and I want to look at her face in just a minute. But remember that Riley, because she's ADD and has anxiety, she does have these neuro-divergencies and has always had them. And so I think that there was something missing in her childhood that when I look back, I mourn the loss of those years of support that she could have gotten. Riley was the kid, if you know anything about overachievers, she was in gifted programs when she was in elementary school. And if you know anything about a girl with ADHD and anxiety who is gifted, you know they're people pleasers and they're going to want to always do it right. Always. And so she would come home with green days. She would come home the perfect angel. Her teachers loved her. All of the things. And so whenever we look at this picture coming up, we're going to see something on their faces that actually surprised me when I started looking at it through this lens. Riley was constantly comparing herself to Zoe. And Zoe was autistic. Zoe was coming home with red days all the time. And so as far as the world and the outside, look at that face. Constantly looking down at what Zoe was doing. And so there was this competition in her heart that she needed to be better than her. Now we're able to understand some of these things a little better, but I want to talk to you about something. When I saw her comparing herself to Zoe in that picture, and then I was doing this page and I was so excited about doing these princesses, I started getting frantic. And you'll see over these next several seconds that I have sped up so much. I became indecisive. I started second guessing myself, and I just freaked out because I couldn't find that next thing. And suddenly I realized I was thinking, what would Ariel do in Ariel's from Ariel's journals? And what would any of these, Juliet, what would Juliet do here? And I just stuck and guessed everything I was doing. I finally was like, you know what? Just move on. This is your page. This is your work. These are your kids. These are your memories. Do it your way and stop comparing yourself to others. But what did I just do? I just was thinking about my own children and thinking, looking back and being freaked out because I felt like I had failed them. And when I look at them today and I look at all of their successes and all of the beauty that their life has become, I am so amazed. Were there messy days? Were there ugly days? Were there days that I didn't really think things could turn out right? Oh, absolutely. I was really, really very sure I was failing my kids on the regular. They were tough to raise. They were very smart, but they both have, mental health issues that need to be addressed. And so when I look at these pages that I'm doing and I'm just thinking about my kids, thinking about days in their life as kids and me parenting them as young children, I want to think back and been like, well, I should have done that better. I should have done that like that. And I should have done that a different way. And I realized that those little mistakes and those changes in direction have actually led to a beautiful place. And the pain and the suffering along the way that we survive is so necessary to create strong, resilient, healthy people. And so when I look at this page in the future, there are things that I'm going to wish I had done differently. I'd wish I'd done this frame differently. Oh my gosh, when you see the final result, you're going to realize what I mean. But I just look at all these things about life and about all of the times that I'm so sure that I've failed. And I think, but look at what's become of this. Riley has been accepted to every college that she's applied to. She's been offered hundreds of thousands of dollars in scholarships already, and she hasn't even graduated yet. And I look at Zoe, who is making a 3.8 right now in high school. She's a junior and is responsible for her own homework. I never have to tell her to get it done. She, we still struggle with her room. We still have issues, She's still autistic. She still has struggles with executive function, and she still has all of the things that happen to autistic people. Not all of them, but you know what I'm saying? Like, she still has all those struggles, but she's learning to manage them. And even though she's neuro different, it doesn't make her less than. And I think that so many times we want to lift our kids up and we judge ourselves so harshly as though we failed. And I just want us to just take a minute and look at every victory. And even in the messy days, and even in this turmoil, and I really think this junk page is really a good representation of this message that I'm trying to convey, is that there are beautiful pieces that come together in a glorious mess sometimes. But all we can do is move forward and learn from them. There are things I'm going to learn from this page. Oh my gosh, I wasted like 30 minutes trying to figure out how I wanted to move forward on a junk journal page. And all I'm doing is just doing this therapeutically to kind of remember their childhood and to think about my parenting and how they've grown, and to remind myself of those things. And this is all the same process that we go through regularly. Look at this page. Look at this. It's going to show you in a second. Oh my gosh, look at that. I mean, look at all those beautiful components, and yet I'm like, man, I wish I could have done that differently. But I'm going to leave it because it's in the past and it's a representation of where I am now. And there will come a day that I'm going to love every page I do. Maybe not, but this is good and we're going to grow from it. You guys have a good day.